So to start, I'm wondering if you can just tell me a little bit kind of about your history with the story. Were you a fan of the graphic novel, of the comic, and the Zack Snyder movie before you signed on to do this project?
Yeah, for sure. I had seen the graphic novel and I've read it and loved it, but the Snyder version for me was something that I thoroughly enjoyed. Is right up my alley. I love science fiction, I love action, and it had everything. And I felt that it was a wonderful interpretation of the book. What I love about this is how true to the book it feels. And I think that the animation style serves it beautifully. And I'm just excited for people to see it because I just saw it and I think it's wonderful.
Oh, sure, definitely, and totally agree. I love the animation. I loved how faithful of a take it was. It's feels like you're just kind of watching the comic come to life. So I thought that was awesome. Totally agree. You're playing obviously Laurie Silk Spectre in the movie. What kind of drew you to the character? I know she's
Mm.
complicated. She has a lot going on, kind of always, but especially at this point in her life. What was that like?
Yeah, it's hard for me to sort of talk about Laurie Specchick without seeing Malin Ackerman. She did such a wonderful job with the role. And I was really excited to put my own spin on this for sure. One of the things that I identified with Laurie from the very beginning was her vulnerability and her self-doubt, and her pain. And that was something that I really wanted people to feel. I wanted her to feel, she has this tremendous sort of this thing that's happened multiple times in her life where she doesn't feel like she's enough. She's not enough for Manhattan, she's not enough for her mom, like all of these people in her life. And that is sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy from the very beginning of her life.
Yeah, definitely. And I was gonna bring up the stuff with her mom too, because I mean it's heartbreaking when you read it in the book, but then you see it come to life. It's yeah, all the more heartbreaking, I think. Was that challenging and hard to kind of get into character like that, to go to those places?
What's funny is mother and daughter relationships are incredibly complicated. Um, um, and I think that that is something for me that is really easy to identify with. Um, there is this thing with mothers and daughters, take the Silk Spectre out of it. Just in reality, that is, you have this massive comparison to your mother. And so I cannot imagine how Lori felt on a daily basis, just with that constant comparison and not feeling like comfortable in her own skin. And that was something that for me is just so easy to tap into, because I feel like every daughter has felt it.
Sure, definitely.
Mm.
Definitely. And I'm really excited to see kind of how chapter two builds on this. I know in the book you got some big moments coming up with Dr. Manhattan on Mars. It's really excited to see. Have you finished recording for it yet, or are you still working on it?
No, we definitely finished recording. So my only wish was that we would have actually gotten to do it together because there's so many of the guys in this movie that I've worked with multiple times, but I've never been in a recording booth with them, and it would have just been so fun.